wait, you're live.
Hello, welcome back to Book Bites with Maggie. This is episode 9 of season 2. Today we're going to be talking about motherly figures and grandmotherly figures. If you are new to Book Bites with Maggie, this is the time where I share now. You can share this post live on social media, and then it will invite your friends to join this live viewing as well. Book Bites is an interactive reader's advisory program that we offer, and one of the things that I can do doing these live broadcasts is the books that I'm holding up, if they pique your interest in any way, if you leave a comment in the section below, I will be able to see that, and we can put books directly on hold with your library card restrictions. So if you have a Napanee Public Library card and one of these books stands out to you, give us a shout out, send us a direct message, and we will put the books on hold, put them aside and give those to you. So go ahead and share now so we can have lots of people watching us. Again, we're talking about mothers and grandmothers today in honor of Mother's Day coming up. Awesome. Hello, friends. Welcome to Book Bites. Can you read comments to me if they come through? I'm not seeing them. Okay, so books that we're going to be showcasing today are from the Napanee Public Library collection. Some of them are books that I have not read for quite a while, and even though that's the case, I distinctly remember while reading these titles that a character in the book, a mother or a grandmother, played a significant role in the storyline to the point that it stuck with me. So I do read books from all genres. I read books that are older, I read newer books, I read books that have not been published yet. And so when you read so many books in so many different versions, multiple formats, I'll be completely honest, it is something when a specific detail sticks out to you. So these are books that did that to me, that had those motherly characters that I could go back with on a drop of a hat and say, yes, there was a mother or a grandmother in this story that played a significant part in the storyline, and I could pull it off the shelf and do that. So the books that I have that I'm going to showcase with you today, I am going to try to remember to tell you what format we have those books in our library collection. If for some reason I do not mention it, if it's a book that you're interested in and you didn't hear what format it was and that does make a difference to you, leave me a comment and I will try to get that information back out to you, because if you have that question, other people might as well. So I will try to do that. I do like to be interactive, so if you leave me comments, say, hey, I read that book too, or that book's been on my reading list, I like to interact with you. So even though you're not sitting right here with me, we can dialogue together in this way and have a lot of fun. The first book that I wanted to share with you today is part of a series. This is the first book in the Huckleberry Hill series by Jennifer Beckstrand. This is an inspirational fiction Amish story, and it is a whole series. I think there's at least 7 or 8 in this book, or in this series. And the Huckleberry Hill is like a location in Wisconsin, and most of the characters in each book, like you could read them each as a standalone. You wouldn't have to read them all together. But what's fun about it is all of these main characters, they're gonna be like soft romances. The characters are all cousins and grandchildren of Anna and Felty Helmuth, which I think is absolutely hilarious, because the grandparents in these stories, they are the matchmakers. So this is called The Matchmakers of Huckleberry Hill, and each separate book, the grandma and the grandpa are trying to match up their grandkids with a marriage partner. And I just got such a hoot out of the way that Anna and Felty and their dynamics as being like 80-year-old grandparents matchmaking. They're so funny. And so I really laughed out loud while reading these books. I don't think I have read all of them. I think I've read maybe half of the series. But this is gonna be in our library collection as a physical book. We also have this one on Libby and Overdrive. If you have your Napanee Public Library card, you're able to access that, and you can also read it as an ebook or an e-audio book. So if you're out and you need an easy beach read with some humor, these ones are great books to grab. gonna set that here. Hopefully you guys can see these. If you, again, want one of the books that I'm speaking of, just give us a shout out and we can put them on hold for you. This next book is one that had quite a buzz about it when it first came out. American Dirt by Janine Cummins is an Oprah Book Club pick from 2020, so it came out last year and was picked. This is a story, it's fiction, but it reads like a first-person narrative, and even though it did not happen to the author, it feels so real that it almost feels like it could be like a memoir. So that's part of the reason why it had such a buzz around it, is because of the details surrounding it. Other people felt like you shouldn't tell a story that I have personal ownership to, but you have no connection to. So the book buzz on this one was significant, and I'll tell you, it's because the storyline is so realistic. In this story, our main character, I forget her name, Lydia, she lives in Mexico, and through the course of the story, you're used to a storyline and a plot going like this, where the climax comes up to the story and then it kind of balances out. In this one, like the very first chapter, you feel like, holy crap, nothing else could possibly be worse than what these characters are experiencing in the opening scene, right? So Lydia and her son, they end up on the run. They're trying to get to America for asylum. And so this is a story about immigration and some of the barriers that some people, they face. And so you follow them. You follow Lydia and her son as they try to travel north, all the obstacles that they come involved with. The drive behind the mother in this story, you feel all the emotions. The writing is fantastic. If you're looking for a light read, this is not one of those. American Dirt is one that's going to make you think, it's going to make you cry, and it's an excellent story. So if you're looking for a personal book club book, this one might be a good one, because the content inside of it definitely would give you lots to discuss in a story. So that's American Dirt by Janine Cummins. We do have this book as the physical book that I'm holding here. It is also available as an ebook and an e-audio book. So a very strong mother character in American Dirt. The next book that I have here for you is not one that we have as a physical book in our library collection. Nicola Yoon, she's written several books, and even her husband has been writing books too now. But Everything is one that we have available as an ebook and an e-audio book. And I believe this one was even made into a movie. So in this story, our main character, she has like I can't think what it's called now off the top of my head. She has a disease where she's not able to go outside. She's allergic to so many things. And when I was putting an autoimmune disease, thank you. She has an autoimmune disease, and she's not able to go outside. So she's allergic to everything. So she lives in her house. Everything has been changed. I kind of got this picture of an Extreme Makeover Home edition where they put special things on the windows so that the daylight didn't hurt her. They put things in the air purification systems so that any particles coming in did not hurt her. So the storyline is based around a teenage girl and the ins and outs of what her life is like. And she has a home care nurse that is also her tutor when her mom goes to work, so that she has somebody that she interacts with. But most of what she does day to day has to do with digital content. You know, her friends can't come over. She's just very, very isolated. In this story, I'll be completely honest, the mother, you root for her, and then all of a sudden you're trying to decide if you love her or if you hate her. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but I will tell you that in this book, the mother plays a significant role in the storyline, to the point that you'll literally backtrack and reread a few chapters just to read it over again and be like, wait, did I read that right? So this is a book that's gonna get you really thinking about the lengths that people will go for their families. And again, the mother in this story changes everything. This is Everything by Nicola Yoon. Again, we have this one as an ebook, an e-audio book, and I believe as a movie as well. The next book that is here in my stack has been on Book Bites with Maggie before. This is Caroline, Little House Revisited by Sarah Miller. I have read several books by Sarah Miller, and every single one of them makes me think about things in a new perspective. Just recently I read Miss Spitfire, which is like Reaching Helen Keller, and it is written from Annie Sullivan's point of view. So she takes characters that you already know and she gives them a narrative of their own. That's the exact same way in this book. So Caroline, obviously you know her from Little House on the Prairie. She's Laura, Mary, Carrie, their mother. And this narrative is from her point of view. So she's married to Charles. She is leaving her comfort of a family home, and she's traveling west out into the prairie. And it's her point of view instead of what you're used to with the series. If you've read Little House on the Prairie, you get that narrative from Laura, and if you watch the TV show, it's the same thing. You're not specifically getting the way and how Caroline thinks of it, and that's the perspective that you get in Little House Revisited. So, giving birth on the frontier, what's that like? Finding an Indian in your home, going through your things when your husband's not around to defend you and the family. It's an excellent, excellent story of a character you already know and love. And Caroline, Little House Revisited by Sarah Miller is one that you should probably put on your list if you're looking for a book just to escape into. That would be a perfect way of describing this book, because you already know the setting, you already know the characters, and it's just a whole new perspective. This one we have as a print book, we have it as an ebook and an e-audio book. And if you are doing any of the reading challenges here with us, this would be considered a fan fiction because they're not characters that are of the author's imagination. They're of somebody else's imagination. So that is Caroline. Another book that I wanted to showcase with you today, this one is actually about a grandmother. How the Penguins Saved Veronica is one that I talked about in Book Bites, I don't know, episode 1 maybe of favorite books that I read last year. Hazel Pryor wrote this book, and it is a fantastic story about an elderly woman who has a lot of means. She has time on her hands, and she has a lot of money, and she doesn't know what to do with it. After viewing a documentary on TV, she decides that, these penguins deserve my money, and in order to leave a large endowment for the research center in Antarctica, she is going to travel to Antarctica and get a first-person account of what it's like to live in Antarctica and what these research teams are doing and how they're going to use her money if she bestows it upon them. There's a lot of back and forth between her and the scientists. There's a penguin orphan who becomes a really cute part of the story. And because she's an elderly woman who has lots of money, of course, everybody is super concerned about why she's not sharing it with family. So as you're reading it, as you're getting through the plot, you kind of understand more about Veronica's backstory, how she was raised, how she then became a matriarch of a family, and then how it all crumbled. So this is an excellent story. It's told as a time slip, so you get her previous, like flashbacks, and then a new character will arrive, somebody from her family that will play a significant story part in this one as well. So through half of the book, you assume she is just a single old pensioner, but then you do realize that she is a grandparent. She was a wife in this story, so that's why she is able to fit into this category. How the Penguins Saved Veronica by Hazel Pryor is one that we have as a print book. We also have it as an ebook on Libby and Overdrive. So if you ever need assistance using our digital content, just stop in at the library. We'd be happy to help you. All the staff really enjoy teaching customers how to use that and how to access it. The last book I wanted to share with you today for Book Bites, featuring mothers and grandmothers, is Nicole Deese's Before I Called You Mine. This is a story of a single woman who desperately wants to be a mother. In this story, she is a school teacher, so while she gets kids during the day, she gets to love on them, she has to send them home at night, and that motherhood instinct in her drives her to put in an application to adopt. And to bring another child into her home. In this story, Lauren is going through a lot of dynamics. And one of the things that she promises God, this is an inspirational fiction, one of the things that she promises God is when she brings somebody into her home, the dynamics between her and a child, they need to be rooted and grounded in a way that she does not want to be in a romantic relationship with anybody for an entire year. Obviously, if you bring a child into a home and then there's a relationship imbalance where your time and your energy goes can be split if you're trying to date at the same time. So Lauren has decided, you know what, motherhood is for me. I'm going to put dating on the back burner, and if God finds a suitable partner for me, then that's going to happen no matter what. So you get to read this story and you really feel the connection that Lauren has with wanting to be a mother, and then it's the give and take on what that looks like of, you know, letting go of other things in your life and other desires in order to fulfill a calling. So that's Before I Call You Mine by Nicole Deese. This one we have is a print book. It's a hardcover. We also have it as an e-audio book on Libby and Overdrive. Nicole Deese has also written another book that I read last month that was absolutely fantastic. I was able to read it before it was published, and so we are still waiting on our copy to come to the library. So if you enjoy this book, I definitely recommend that you read All That Really Matters by the same author. They are not connected in any way. They're both standalones, but if you like the one, you'll like the other one, and that's about a media influencer. So did we have any comments today on our mothers and grandmothers post? None? Okay. Well, that's all that I have for Book Bites with Maggie this time around. Next week when we do another episode, number 10, we're going to be talking about books that feature mental health dynamics. So if that is of interest to you, we hope you join us again next Wednesday for another Book Bites with Maggie. If you watch this vlog delayed, please reach out to us if these books are available. We'd be happy to set them aside for you, and we can get those to you in a timely manner. So thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you next time on Book Bites with Maggie.